Well, last week, Rick Santorum took his own presidential campaign down by a couple of pegs as he took a great big swipe at one of our nation's most beloved presidents of the 20th century, John F. Kennedy. In 1960, Kennedy, as a candidate, came forward to reassure the American people about his own personal religious faith. You see, with the rising influence of the Catholic Church all around the world at the time, there was widespread concern that it might exert an undue influence over the office of the president should Kennedy actually win. And he came forward to reassure the American people by speaking directly to that concern, to reassure them that that simply was not going to be the case in his administration. The American people fully understood this, which is why Kennedy did become president. And Rick Santorum does not understand this, which is why he will never be president. Kennedy wasn't talking about just checking your faith in at the door as you assume the oath of office, not even close. And nobody should ever do that anyway. And by the way, that's not even what this is all about. The American people fully recognize that their public servants are going to embrace a very wide variety of different faiths, just like their citizens. And that's okay. The real question here is to what degree should anybody's personal belief system influence their decision-making power as they execute a public office? I don't think anybody has ever even asked that question, let alone answered it. So I'm going to answer it for you right now. In this world, there are certain values that are so widely recognized as to be universally embraced by all of the world's major faiths. And if you as much as recognize a higher power at all, then you're already inclined to value things like freedom, individual liberty, human rights, civil rights, responsible management of the environment, and those sorts of things. If you reject the idea of a higher power, you're already inclined to discount all those things. It really is just that simple. Which is one more reason why atheism will never have an effective power base anywhere in the United States, or any place else on earth for that matter. But back to my point. A healthy balance lies somewhere in the space where a candidate recognizes that no matter how deeply held they may hold their own personal beliefs, at the end of the day, there are going to be those teachings specific to their faith and none of the others. And a worthy servant recognizes that no matter how dearly they may hold those specific teachings, that they can never be allowed to trump the universal values that guide us all as we move forward on our journey to a higher consciousness. That's all. That's all the American people were ever looking for then or now, and that was Kennedy's whole point. Really, it's just so obvious, isn't it, when you think about it? I can't even believe that Rick Santorum, for all his talk about liberty, freedom, church, and state, would fail to recognize this. In fact, I'm actually embarrassed for him that he would be so caught up in his own narrow, simplistic, one-sided worldview as to completely miss this when it really is just that painfully obvious. But then again, I suppose you could say exactly the same thing for all those atheists out there just as easily. Oh well, what can you do? This has been Steve, proudly standing by you as you stand up for your own faith, whatever it may happen to be. Thank you for watching. I'll see everybody next time. Out.